What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video at JDH Aquatics, where we do anything aquariums related in my apartment while I'm in college. If I sound sick, I'm not sick, or at least I hope I'm not sick. I think it's just allergies. The winter coming and the season's changing. I think it's allergies. Today we're going to be talking about my top 5 budget pieces of equipment for reefers. I made a video probably about a year and a half ago on my top 3 pieces of equipment for a nano tank. So I want to give some budget pieces of equipment for any new reefers out there that aren't looking to spend a whole lot, or if you're already in the hobby and you want to set up another tank and you don't want to break the bank. Here are some pieces of equipment that have a lot of bang for their buck. If you are interested in any of these products that I'm mentioning, I will link them in my Amazon affiliate. So if you guys want to check them out, you can click on the link in my bio. That's another way to help out the channel. So if you guys are looking to support us in any way, that's a great way to do it. So thank you. So I've got 4 different pieces of equipment for you in different categories, but it's really 6 pieces of equipment, 6 different ones, but it's 4 categories. So I'm only saying it's 4, but it's really 6 different ones. The first one we got is my Smart Micro ATO. Now I've had this for about a year and a half, and I've had 0 failures with it, no issues. It's been a good ATO for me. I've used it in I think like 4 different aquariums now, including the 38 behind me here. It's super easy to get set up. I think it was around maybe $100, and compared to other ATOs out there, it is a little bit cheaper. Now you don't get the double safety of having a float valve, and I know a lot of people like that, but for a small aquarium such as this, I mean, it's still 40 gallons, so it's kind of out of the nano size, but it's still right around there. It's a good ATO. The next piece I have for you guys is gonna be sort of a specific piece of equipment because you don't really need it until I guess you need it, if that makes any sense. So let me explain to you guys what a surface skimmer is really quick. It's essentially a piece of equipment that goes into your aquarium, but it sits at the top of your aquarium and it pulls in water from the surface of the water. So if you have any skim on the top of your tank, if you're not getting any good surface agitation, a surface skimmer is a great thing to add into your tank. Now I've only seen them in nano applications. I haven't seen them in large tanks. So the one that I'm showing you guys, I would probably recommend using up to maybe like a 30 or a 40 gallon. Anything bigger than that, it's probably gonna be useless. But if you have a bigger tank, surface agitation and getting flow isn't gonna be that big of an issue just because you have a bigger tank. It's easier to get flow across that tank. In a smaller aquarium, such as like a 10 gallon, I have mentioned that it's very hard to get a good flow pattern in such a small aquarium. That's why I recommend going with like a 20 if you're a beginner. But if you have a 10 and you're having issues with surface agitation, or you need to add just maybe a little bit more internal flow, a surface skimmer is a great way to do it. It consists of 1 pump. They're really easy to take apart and clean, and not to mention they're cheap. You can get them pretty much anywhere. I think I got mine at Petco. They're like 20, 25 bucks. And like I said, it's a great way to add flow as well as surface agitation and clean the surface of your water. So these last 2 pieces of equipment are actually pairs. So the next one we're gonna talk about is lighting. Now, this is a big topic that I've talked about on my channel because only with 1 aquarium, 1 application did I use a name brand light, which was a Kessel. Now, although that was a great light, I'm a big supporter of these Amazon LEDs that you can find online. And when I say Amazon LEDs, you can pretty much get them on eBay. And the new Sykes that I'm gonna talk about, it's not an Amazon LED, but it is a much more budget-friendly LED compared to something like the Kessel. So the first light we'll talk about is to my right, which is the Noopysche K7 Pro. Noopysche also makes a K7 Mini, which is a 60 watt fixture, and that can go on a more nano-sized aquarium. But if you're looking for something for a larger tank, or if you just got some SPS in your aquarium, the Noopysche K7 Pro is what you're gonna be looking for. These are 140 watts each, I believe, somewhere around there, and they're not that expensive. For the wattage that you get out of the light, compared to the name brand lights that are on the market, it's a very budget-friendly light. The cool thing with these lights is they have an app to control them. So you can download the Noopysche app, sync up your lights, and then you can daisy chain them all together. So I've got these 2 that are synced together, and it's a pretty user-friendly app. I've only had the K7s for, I wanna say about 3 or 4 months. So not that long to see any significant coral growth or any changes in the aquarium. But the lights that we have to my left are the Aquaknights that you can get off of Amazon. These are kind of like the tried and true lights that I've had on my channel. A lot of you guys have seen them in the videos, and I have seen good coral growth and good color out of these lights for the price. Now on this channel, at least as of right now, I'm not trying to coral farm. I'm not trying to get any crazy growth to frag out my corals. I'm simply just trying to show you guys the hobby and the corals that are in the tank, and I think these lights do a great job at doing that. They still grow the corals, they still produce happy corals that have good color, and they're only like 60 or 65 bucks a piece. So for a 30-watt LED that does that on a nano-sized tank, I think it's a great option. Now, as I mentioned, they're only 30 watts, so they're not the most powerful light, but they're only $60, so realistically speaking, you could put one over every foot of your tank, depending on how large your aquarium is. So we've got a 24-inch 20-gallon tank here. I've got 2 of them over the tank, and I've grown beginner SPS in this tank and everything else below that. Both of these options are great. If you were gonna go the SPS route, I would probably steer you towards the Noopysche K7 Pros, just because there's a little bit more intensity in those lights. But if you're looking to do softies, some LPS, or even some entry-level SPS corals, the Aquaknights are also a great option because they're very inexpensive and they're a reliable light. Now, the last piece of equipment that I have for you guys again is a pair, and that's going to be the flow that we got going on in the 38-gallon reef to my right. On this tank, we've got a couple different power heads. We've got the Jabeo, I always say it wrong. I want to say Jabeo, but it's pronounced J-Bow, or at least that's how it's spelled. But we've got the J-Bow SLW10 puck style power heads in here. We've got 2 of those, and those are pushing water on the lateral side, or I guess the long side of the tank here. We've got one behind the aquascape so that we've got some good water flow behind there, and then we've got one pushing water across the corals here in the front. The SLW10s are great because you can turn them down and you can turn them way up. They're controllable, so they do have their own little controller, and they're a great application for a nano-sized tank if you've got something like a 15 or a 20-gallon, and they'll do good up to these 40-gallon size tanks. I think anything a little bit bigger than a 40-gallon, you'll probably start to get some drop-off in flow for the SLW10s. But again, the SLW10s are a great option compared to something like the Narrow 3. I want to say it's like half the price of a Narrow 3, and you still get the controllability, and again, it's a very reliable pump. It looks good. It does everything that the Narrow 3 does. It's just not the name brand. And the second part of my flow is the J-Bow SCP-70. And this is the smallest version of their gyre pump. I've grown to love gyre pumps. I actually want to replace my SLW10s with 2 more SCP-70s, but it's just not really necessary right now with the corals that I have in the tank. The way I have it set up, it's on a wave mode and it's turned to the first setting. So it's got like 7 or 8 more notches of like power intensity. I couldn't imagine this thing at full pump. The corals and the fish would probably go flying, but the SCP-70 is the smallest, I believe, model that you can get. So if you got a large tank, I would probably start smaller, and if you need more flow, maybe go with the next bigger size up and just add a second one in there. But the SCP-70 has also been a very reliable power head, and it's added some amazing flow to the tank. So those are the 4 pieces of reefing budget equipment that I have for you guys. I would like to think of myself as somewhat of like a saver. I try to find good deals, especially when it comes to this hobby, because it can be very expensive. If you guys have any pieces of equipment that you guys have that you didn't see in this video that you think I might like or check out, drop it in the comments down below. I am always doing research on new stuff. If you guys like the video, let me know in the comments down below. Be sure to check out the Amazon affiliate links if you guys are interested in any of these products that I mentioned. But with all that being said, I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.